It is Saturday night. What y'all got going? What y'all got going? We are super excited to be here tonight to continue our International Women's Day. You know, guys, we are all stuck inside. So it's time for you to get your pen and paper and let's listen to our guest speakers tonight. They have some amazing information. You guys know the drill. If you haven't already, please share out the broadcast. For those of you guys that don't know me, and most of you know me from After Dark, my name is Jennifer King. I am that coach that helps you frustrated employees who are extremely frustrated right now. I help you build and grow a business so that you don't have to work a job. That is what I do. That is what I love. That is what I did. That is exactly what I did over the last year, and you too can do it. We want you guys also, if you haven't already registered, we want you to go to bit.ly/yourday2020, bit.ly/yourday2020. That's going to give you an opportunity to get the replays, to get reminded we still have one more day of the telesummit. It'll also give you an opportunity to give us some additional information about your business and if you want a phone call and all the interest areas that you may have. So you can go to bit.ly/yourday2020. We're going to hear from our other co-hosts tonight. We have some amazing speakers. So you guys get your pen and paper. You ain't got nothing else to do because you can't go nowhere. And let's listen in to our speakers. Go ahead, ladies.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Chiquita Lindsay. You know, I'm usually on the BYB morning show. So if I fall asleep on you all, I'm sorry. This is usually my bedtime. But I wanted to be here tonight because we have two exciting guests, and I wanted to be personally in the room for their presentation. Please share out the broadcast. Please invite. Please put your questions because these ladies, after they do their presentation, they will answer questions, and my co-host here will be looking, and myself, for your questions so we can get those answered. So I hope everybody's fine, warm, have plenty of food and safe tonight. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We like to do, we got CJ sitting in with us tonight. You know, she's the original After Dark. So let me hand it over to her for a minute before we introduce our guest.
Thank you so much, Queen of Real Estate. How is everyone doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I am Shaquanda C.J. Alston, accountant and owner of Johnson's Bookkeeping and Tax, where business owners hire me to take care of their financial planning. Enough of that, but I am here with these amazing women tonight. So super excited to be with you all. Y'all know what to do. Share out the broadcast. Share out the broadcast and we'll get started. Thank you.
So ladies, make sure you're here tomorrow night because we're going to be closing it out. Coach is going to close it out with a bang. So make sure you don't miss us tomorrow night. But without further ado, in no particular order, because both of these ladies are equally wonderful, I'm going to bring Asia Stearns to the floor, and go ahead and introduce yourself, Asia, and your presentation.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Aisha, and what I do, I work with business owners business owners who are making money in their business, but don't know where their money is going. So I come in and show these particular business owners, how to finally show a profit in their business, finally take control of their finances, and know where their money is going. My presentation is really going to be short and sweet and to the point. It's going to be verbally. I don't have a PowerPoint because I know we have another guest, so I'm going to be respectful of her time as well. So I'm going to touch on probably three important things. You know, the thing that is going on with the coronavirus. Unfortunately, this is something that the whole entire world is experiencing. But one thing that I have noticed in the news feed is that businesses either have shut down or businesses have laid off. Unfortunately, I had a client, who got laid off. So now I am showing her how to prioritize her bills in order to let me, how can I say, I'm showing her how to prioritize her bills, right? Until she can find new work, because unfortunately she got laid off. And so one of the key things is that us as business owners, we don't know really what to expect at times. And what I mean by that is that we have unexpected expenses or unexpected things that happen in our business. So I would take this for example with the coronavirus, is that it was unexpected, and some businesses did not plan for this. And so unfortunately with layoffs or closed down, what is one thing that a business owner could have done, and what did they not do? So one of the things that they did not do is that they probably didn't have a savings to the side for unexpected tragedies, okay? And if we were to establish savings within our business, it can help our employees that we have, and we wouldn't have to close our businesses unless it was the government who told us to. We wouldn't have to lay off our employees, unfortunately, if we would have had that savings plan in place. So what am I trying to say? One of my pointers is that we have to go back to the basics, people. We have to go back to the basics. And what is the basics? Budgeting our money, which is taking the income, taking the expenses, and knowing what our cash flow is. And then when we have our cash flow, okay, how can we save and put that to the side and be prepared for the next thing that is to come? Because unfortunately, this is really only the beginning, people. I mean, this will pass. I believe that this really will pass. But when it passes, what have we learned as business owners? What are we going to do differently when we open up our doors again? And so that's when I say, go back to the basics. Get out that piece of paper and get out that pen or whatever you write with, and start writing down your expenses, because we don't know where our expenses is going. And we have to save our money. Unfortunately, we are not saving our money, even not only as business owners, but also as household people, is that we have to put money to the side. So that's one of my pointers, is that going back to the basics so that we can be prepared for the next thing if it does happen. Another thing that we can do is we need to prioritize our bills. So what do I mean by that? Is that unfortunately with what is going on, and now that we don't have that income coming in like we used to, okay, let's write down all our bills, all our expenses, and prioritize them from greatest to least. And then from there, with our income of whatever that we have, let's start paying our bills by priority, right? So like for instance, for a household, what is the number one thing? Rent. What is the second thing? Probably car note or food or insurance. I'm not sure, it's different from everybody. Now let's go to the business owner. You know, what is your high ticket item? Rent. So let that be the first priority on your list to pay, and you know that you still have a building. Does that make sense? I know y'all can't talk back to me, but you know, does that make sense? Is that we have to prioritize our bills. So number one was going back to the basics. We need to start budgeting our money. and also saving our money so that we can be prepared for the next thing if it does happen. We should always be prepared. The second bullet point is prioritizing your bills. So if you have what they call it, irregular income, which is most business, they don't, like a household is, paycheck every 2 weeks. Well, with business, you really don't know when you're going to get paid. So they call it irregular income. And that's how we prioritize our bills. Now, the third thing is, I told you it's going to be short and sweet. Now, the third thing is that I want to take you to a scripture because I'm a believer of the word. And it's Psalms 121, 1-2. And it's the King James Version. And what it states is that it says, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, from which cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. And what I want to leave you with is that your help comes from the Lord, not from man. Now, I understand, or we understand, that the Lord does use man as vessels, but our ultimate source is the Lord, which made heaven and earth. And I believe that is so wonderful because I have yet to meet a man who has made heaven and who has made earth. So knowing that the Lord is your helper in your business, how can you lose? Because the Lord has all wisdom and he knows all things. And he will always lead you and guide you in all things with his spirit. So when you go to him and you know that he is your help, you have nothing to lose. So I told you it's going to be short and sweet. That's what I got for you.
Wow, Asia, that was so good. And I like how you said back to basics. Our elders, our grandparents, great grandparents, they had the basics. They had an emergency fund. They always had food. The lights and the water was never cut off. Their houses were paid for, and they didn't make a lot of money. Can't say they were rich, but they planned. They had cash, and that's what we got to do is go back to the basics. Make sure we got a plan. We got cash on the side in case something happens. Sometimes we get too dependent on other things, and you forget. And then, of course, you said it's time for us to relearn and prioritize in our business. That is big. That is valuable information. And sometimes God just wants us to sit still for a minute.
Right.
So if you've been overwhelmed with all the stuff in your business, it's time for you to sit still and come back brand new like a phoenix.
That's good. And Chiquita, you don't have a choice but to sit still now. With what's going on with the coronavirus. Unfortunately, we have a lot going on. There was one thing I wanted to point out that you mentioned, Aisha, is that you had a client come to you who had been laid off. And that's what we have been talking about so much. And guys, if you haven't shared out the broadcast, be sure you share out the broadcast, give us #share, and go get registered so you can stay connected with the community. bit.ly/yourday2020. And you'll have an opportunity on that registration page. It's going to ask you some real specific questions because we don't want people to get to the point of being laid off, because when you're laid off, you're in panic mode. You're in panic mode and you don't know which way to go because you don't have money coming in. So, I'm glad that you were able to help your client prioritize. I'm sure you had to help her bring down her anxiety level, reassure her what to do with the bills, give her some strategy around that. And there's going to be a lot of that going on with the coronavirus because we still got to pay rent, but there are some bills that can be deferred. And so if you talk with a financial person, call your creditors, call whoever you can that you owe bills to, and just talk to them. Say, hey, I don't have the money, because people are having to stock up. But let me back up and talk about the person being laid off. We have talked, and I have talked and talked and talked, and I will continue to talk about not waiting until something happens. right? Nobody expected this. This came out of the blue. The silent war, the silent enemy is upon us now. But we've been talking about getting prepared for a layoff. We didn't never said coronavirus particularly, but we talked about getting prepared. And most people, I believe it's about 40% of Americans are not prepared for a $400 emergency. Well, if you had to get your family stocked up, that exceeded $400. I promise you it did. I know it did because it did for me. So we want you guys to get connected. And when we get through this, we know we have a high anxiety now. We know we have a lot going on right now, but we have to be still. Chiquita talked about being still. So while we're still, let's start planning for when we come through this. For when we come through this. That was amazing, Aisha. Thank you so much for that information.
Yeah, that's great, Jennifer. And you know, all is not lost. There's still some things that you can do.
Absolutely.
And that's where you need wise counsel. So you can get in the right positions to know what to do, because right now when you're in the box, you need somebody that's outside looking in that can help you. And if you don't panic and get wise counsel, we're all going to make it through this, and we're going to be new. We're going to build more businesses and make more money at the end of this.
That's good.
Do all the things right. And so that was great. That was great, Asia. And so are there any questions out there for Asia? Let's look in the chat.
I don't see anything. We want to welcome everybody that's here with us. All of you guys that shared. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because you know what? I tell this story every day. Every time I go live, I tell people it was one share of the broadcast that changed my life. That one share of the broadcast got me prepared for this crisis, this emergency. I was able to stock up. I've cooked more in the last week than I've cooked in the last year. I am kid you not.
I believe.
I kid you not. And I'm just like, oh my God. But you know what? Back to the basics. Back to the basics.
Yeah.
I want to order out. I don't want anybody coming here. I get my groceries delivered. And our wise counsel that we have in this community got us prepared. We had special meetings this week all around getting prepared for the coronavirus. We got coupon codes. We got all kinds of strategy. So guys, if you have any questions about getting your family prepared, any questions for Aisha about your finances, that is so key to have your household budget and your business budget.
Right.
That is so key. I didn't understand that at first, Aisha, and everything just ran together. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. And now I have it separated because I sought wise counsel. That is amazing. So guys, if you haven't already registered, we still have one more amazing day of the telesummit. We still want you to go get registered, because on that registration page, we ask a question about if you want to receive a phone call, if you are in these different areas, because we're all about helping people. Coach is doing a challenge, a 7-day social media challenge that starts on Monday. She is committed to helping 500 families. 500 families get their own stimulus check. We're not going to wait for the government, because it's going to take time. Just think about it. Things in general took a long time before, right? They're pushing things through, but with us not having to do social distancing, you're having to do things remotely. You're having all kinds of added issues. Are you going to wait till when they say potentially April 6th, they're going to send out checks? Will you get a check? Do they know where to find you? There's going to be a lot of red tape. Look, I worked for the government for many, many years. I'm telling you, it sounds real easy. Everybody's like, I want my $1,000. I want my $1,200. I want mine too, but I'm not, because I got wise counsel, I can wait on mine. Guys, get in the challenge. The link for the challenge is bit.ly/7days-show-up. bit.ly/7days-show-up. We are out here trying to help as many people as possible. Guys, please share out the broadcast. We have one more amazing speaker. Go ahead, Chiquita.
And don't forget to join us tomorrow night for the closeout. Coach will be here, and we have some amazing women speaking also. And so let's go to our next guest, Tamika Carpenter. You have the floor.
Yay, Tamika.
Everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen with you guys because I have a PowerPoint. I'm super excited to be here. Okay, so I decided to talk about, since we are going through the whole coronavirus, how to turn your fear around as a single parent during the pandemic while your children are home full time. I am a single parent with 5 children that are home because of the whole coronavirus, and they're shutting down schools, they're shutting down a whole bunch of things in a whole bunch of places. So nobody really knows what's going on. The government is telling us one thing, the mayor is telling us another. So everybody's in this panic state. Everybody is just like, what's going on? But the truth of the matter is,
Tamika, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's important for you. I love the way you changed this and are going to talk about it, that you're in New York.
I am in New York, where there's high cases of people dying. There's high cases that they're finding out every day that people have it. So when people say, oh, it's not important, oh no, go outside, I'm staying inside, me and my kids, to stay protected, because people are dying left and right. And nobody really knows what this is. They assume it came from, China, but they're not really sure exactly what's in the air, how you really get it. It's just foreign to us. When they should have told us when initially it first started, like I think last year, the end of last year, which is originally when it started, and then it travels here. That's when they should have prepared us. They should have warned us. But because I am a single parent and I work from home, and I don't have to rely on, a government check, or I don't have to rely on getting income from other people, I was able to say, at least I can take care of my family. But there's so many single parents that can't do that because they rely on a check every month. They rely on making sure their kids are taken care of. Some of them have daycare expenses. Some of them have medical expenses, a whole lot of expenses. Now they're like, what do I do? So I'm kind of here to talk to you guys about the fear, because I'm pretty sure all of us, whether you're a mom, whether you're, just an entrepreneur, or whether you work a regular 9 to 5, you have fears around this whole pandemic. When is it going to end? When is it going to be over? When is my life going to go back to what it was before? Because we're all pretty much in lockdown. So I just want to ask you guys a couple questions. If you can drop them in the chat, that would be great. I just want to know, does it sound like you? You feel overwhelmed? You're juggling home and work at this moment, because you are either forced to work at home because you can't go into your job, or you're an entrepreneur and, you have to switch up your schedule because your kids are home. You're living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us do live paycheck to paycheck, and we don't know when our next paycheck is coming. We only know what the government is telling us. We only know what, our jobs might be emailing us, or they might be sending, just smoke signals. Are you living client to client? Some of us are living client to client, because our clients can't pay us, or it's because, they don't know where their money or where their finances are coming from. Are you struggling with how to cope because you're losing sight of who you are? There's a lot of people that are losing sight of who they are because they're so afraid. They have to protect their family. They have to protect, their loved ones. They have to protect other people. So it's like they're forgetting to protect themselves in the process because they're so worried about everyone else. And I think that's important, especially when, you are a single parent, or you are a parent, or you are somebody who has elderly people around you, or you have others that you have to watch over, you have to protect. And also it's like you're struggling with your new reality. This is everybody's new reality now, because we're forced in a situation that we didn't ask to be in. We're living life on demands like that were placed upon us. We didn't ask for this. Nobody did. Do you feel like you're burnt out, like you're working to manage your time? A lot of people don't know what to do with their time now because their time is so out of whack. Some people are working from home, but it's, do you work your regular 8 to 4, your 9 to 5, or do you work around your kids because your kids are home now? Some people have little kids. Some people have older kids. Some people have kids in between, but it's still, you still have to juggle being a parent and still working and still providing. Do you feel like you're in a state of emergency? We all feel like probably we're in a state of emergency. Even some business owners feel like that, you know, like you don't know where to turn. Because honestly, we really don't know where to turn unless you have a community, you have a bunch of sisters, you know, and that's one thing, you know, we were able to build in this community is a bunch of sisters that you can call on. They can check on you, you can check on them, and you can say, listen, you know, I'm not okay. I'm not all right. You know, where do I turn? Where do I go? What do I do? And the resources are out there and they can help you. And I think that's what's key is we need to lean on each other, not turn against each other in a time of need. You know, and this is for you if you're open to just putting a plan in place to balance your work, you know, balance your life, you know, your children, you know, and just create a sense of boundaries for everything that's going on around you. And then you're passionate about wanting to change for yourself and for your children. I think now is the time that you need to look at your life and you need to look at what's going on now and say, I want something different. I want to change. And also, you know, you got to be willing to put yourself first. If you're not willing to put yourself first, you know, because nobody's going to take care of you like you know, and what good are you to your children? What good are you to your family? What good are you to everybody else if you're not first? You know, this is also for you if you're a mompreneur or if you're just a mom that works a regular job, you know, you're a teacher, you know, because you educate our kids, but now it's left to us to educate our kids, you know, and childcare providers, you know, for you guys too, you know, now we're being that provider for our children, you know, we're taking on the extra burdens as well. You know, business owners as well, you know, whether you're white collar, blue collar, you know, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a doctor, you know, it's for pretty much everybody, you know, because somewhere or another, you know, we are parents or we have parents or we have people that, you know, we connect with. So here's a little bit of statistics for you guys. 70% of moms with children under the age of 18 years old work a job. More than 75% of these moms are full-time workers, full-time. There are around 15 million single mother-headed households in the USA. 25% of US families are headed by single parent, and 80% of single parent households are moms, and 21% of children living primarily in a single mom household. I think that's super important because people fail to realize that, you know, single moms need help too. You know, we don't have somebody we can rely on. We don't have somebody we can like tag in when we get tired, when we get sick, when we get burned out. 7% of children live with a parent that is unmarried. Sometimes it's not only by choice that, you know, the single mom's not married. Sometimes they could be widowed. It's a number of factors that leads them to be single parents. The poverty rate by household is as follows. You know, 30% are single moms, which is really high. 17% are single dads. You know, there are some single dads out there too. And 16% are cohabitating families, you know, meaning that, you know, they pretty much parent together, but, you know, they may live separate places or they may live under the same roof, but just not together. As well as 8% are married couples, which these numbers are alarming because people don't really think of the statistics behind households, especially single parent households, and how relevant they are and how severely effective they are. So I'm going to talk to you guys tonight and give you guys tips and strategies on how to turn your fear around as a single parent during this pandemic while your children are home full time. And I think that's key because they are home full time and you have no clue when they're going to be able to go back to school, and because we don't know when this is going to be over and how it's going to affect our communities and affect the world today. For all of you guys who don't know who I am, my name is Tanika. I'm a certified life and relationship coach. I help single moms. I help them basically with their life struggles. You know, I help them to walk in their truth and who they are. I help them with just accepting their self, their situations, and build their confidence. You know, and I just help them build the mindset to want more out of life, you know, to do better. and to be able to take care of themselves and provide for their children. I also, inspire them to be victorious, be bold, and be confident as an entrepreneur, because I think you have to be bold, you have to be confident, you have to be victorious to take over, and just to tell them and let them know, like, I'm here, and I'm going to do this. I'm never going to give up, because I have other people looking up to me, and I'm going to create a legacy for them. Whether it's handling your mental state, your emotional state, your financial state, I think it's super important. I am a full-time stay-at-home mom, entrepreneur mom at that, of 5 children between the ages of 2 and 18. And I do have 3 children who do have special needs. So it's a lot on my plate, especially now, having to homeschool them. I have to do it based on where they are, plus run a business, plus take care of my household, and plus still be relevant to everything that's going on around them to protect me, protect them. And I think that's key. So this is my family. These are my kids. This is my oldest, and, I love them to death. They're my world. This is my why. This is why I do what I do. This is why I work with single moms, because I know the struggle. I know what it's like to actually be in a place where you can't provide for them, where you look at them every day and you say, dang, like, I got a mini me running around here, and I think that's super important. You gotta never forget where you came from, but just know that God has blessed you to have a family to provide, and just do what's right. So I'm gonna talk to you guys about the 3 fears that you're having. Sometimes people, when they're in the state of fear, you think they're excited, you think they're like, they're okay, but it's just a front, it's a facade, because they don't want people to know how they really feel. Some people are scared, some people are angry, they have so many emotions running around that I think it's important that you never judge somebody, and you never look at somebody and say, oh, I know how they feel, because people mask that all the time and they suppress stuff. So, whether it's scarcity, whether it's anger, whether it's depression, it causes a lot of, in our society, people to, have mental health issues or have other underlying issues because they are afraid. And we were taught as a society not to be able to express our fears, our feelings. It's always, no, you shouldn't feel like that. No, you shouldn't do this. But who are you to tell us how we should feel, or how you should feel, or how anyone feels? Everybody should be able to speak their voice and just basically say, I'm afraid. I don't know what's going on. I need help. I want help. There's so many people out here that need help, but they're afraid to ask for it because they've been taught that you shouldn't talk about it. You shouldn't ask somebody. Can't nobody help you. But the reality is, there's somebody out there that can help you go through what you're going through, because either they've been there before, or either they can take that journey with you. Because you know why? Because it's better to go do a journey with somebody versus going through it alone. I know what it's like to go through it alone, having no one. That's a scary feeling, and then with this whole pandemic, this whole coronavirus, it's scary when you don't have a support system, you don't have somebody to call on, because you're literally going through this alone based on what the government and based on what you hear in the news. And you're like, what do I do? Where do I go? So just stay connected with the people around you, stay connected to your community, and just reach out to people and, just try to overcome your fears. The first fear that a lot of people have is that you have not built an emergency savings. And I think that's key for a lot of people. You don't save money. You spend money, whether it's on rent, whether it's on bills, whether it's on going out date night, whether it's going to the movies, whatever it is, because you feel like, oh, I'm going to get another paycheck, or, oh, I have money coming in. You know what I mean? Like, we don't think for the long run. Like, we don't think to whether it's $1, whether it's $5, whether it's $10 to put away for a rainy day. Because when things like this happen, you have money. You know, some people say, oh, I'm going to invest in stocks and bonds, but look at the stock market. The stock market is crashing, you know, it might close. Then what's going to happen with your money? Your money might be tied up. Then what are you going to do? How are you going to take care of your household? How are you going to take care of your expenses? You know, and I think it's key to always put an emergency savings in place for things like this. We have to think about, you know, the long run. And I don't think a lot of people think like that. I think they think day to day, moment to moment, right now. But every day you wake up, it's a blessing. Every day you wake up, you should be thinking about tomorrow. Because yes, tomorrow's not a promise, but if you wake up tomorrow, you got to think, like, do I have enough money to get through the day? Do I have enough money to provide for my kids? Do I have enough money to be able to make sure they eat? Do I have enough money to make sure I'm able to put gas in my car, pay my rent? You know, people don't think like that. And I think this is super important. You know, and the second fear that people have is that they don't know how to manage their time because now you're stuck to educate your kids. And I feel like sometimes we live in a society that we allow the school system to educate our kids, you know, and then we wonder why our kids aren't really learning what they're supposed to be learning, because the kids, you know, they go to school and I'm like, Mom, well, I don't really know what they're teaching us, you know, instead of us educating our kids from what we were taught and what we know, you know, and our kids wouldn't be asking us like, Mom, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Our kids would be prepared, you know. And I think now when you educate your kids from home, when you take that time with them and you sit with them and, you know, you help them with their ABCs or you help them, you know, with their math, their English, whatever it is, you wouldn't be running around overwhelmed now because you have a system in place to be able to say, okay, well, let's take an hour, let's take 2 hours, you know, or switch places, however it works in your household, you know. I have 5 kids, you know, I have four that are in school. So I have to map out time to make sure they all complete their work, but I have to be able to educate them and tell them like, listen, you're not in school because of this. I don't know when you'll be back in school because of this, along with whatever else they're teaching us, you know, and yes, math, science, history, all that's good. But what they really need to be taught is life skills about how to survive. Because right now, you know, sometimes that's you're a single parent, but God forbid you get sick or God forbid somebody around you gets sick. Now your kid has to step up and your kid has to take over. But if you're not teaching them the fundamentals and the basics, they don't know what to do. They're leaning on society to tell them what to do. And we shouldn't let society dictate our households and dictate what goes on at all. You know, and especially like working a job, you know, there are some people who, you know, they feel like, you know, they got to work for somebody else. Work for yourself. When you work for yourself, you don't have to answer to nobody, you know, and you can make the money that you're worth. And now it's, yeah, they might be giving you a little bit of raise, but they should have been giving you that raise before, you know, and like, now you're waiting for a paycheck. Why are you waiting for a paycheck from somebody to give you money that's owed to you, due to you, to take care of your family? You should never be put in a position like that. And some people are not looking at it like that. You know, they're like, okay, well, I'm working from home. Like I'm stuck working from home. You know, I'm waiting on this paycheck. What if that money don't come? Yeah, they're trying to put little things in place for, you know, if you can't pay your rent or if you can't pay your mortgage and, you know, they're going to send you a little bit of money here, but you got to wait for that. The landlord ain't going to wait for his money. He ain't thinking about, oh, well, I understand we're in a crisis, we in a pandemic or whatever. No, I want my money. The rent is due and I want my money. And that's what they're going to be thinking, you know? And I don't think that they're really telling people the real deal. I get it. You're putting things in place for people. That's good. But what about now? You know, what about people who don't have the money to pay their rent? I know you're saying, okay, well, you know, we're not going to put them out on the street. But what if the landlord decides to say, you know what, you didn't pay your rent this month. You know, I'm going to take you to court and then, you know, I'm going to try to put you out. Then now you got another headache because now you got to tell your kids why you can't stay where you're at. and you're going through another crisis because now you got to tell them, like, listen, we got to try to find somewhere to go because we're in a state of emergency. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to them. And that's not fair to anybody else around you. And the fact that your household, you got to care for your home. Your home is number one. Your home is like your sanctuary. You know, if your home is in chaos, your life is in chaos. And even if you're an entrepreneur working from home, you can't run a business if your house is chaotic. You can't. You can't run a business if you don't know what is going on around you and how it's affecting everybody. That includes your kids, that includes you, that just includes your finances, everything. You know, you can make 6 figures, 7 figures, it doesn't matter. But if your mental state is not right, you can't run a solid business. You can't. You can have all the money in the world, but if your mental and your emotional is not together, your business is going to crumble. It's going to fall. You know, and everybody's going to see that around you. And the third fear is, are you going to be able to mentally keep it together? Like, a lot of people are going crazy. I've never seen the mental health like crisis like at its all-time high. Like, there's so many people who have underlying issues, depression, anxiety, you know, all types of stuff. But now during this crisis, because it isn't unknown and it is foreign, it's even more. And people who didn't have a mental health issue, now they have one, because now they're running around, they're overwhelmed, they're burnt out, they're going crazy. And they're like, I have no clue how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to manage it all. It's not fair to no one at this point. And everyone's in an uproar. And I just feel like you have to prepare yourself mentally for state of emergencies. You have to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally when the chips really fall on you. And that's what happened. Everything is falling on you at this point. So kind of to wrap this up, you know, if you want to turn your fear around, basically what you should do is you should always create a pandemic-free system. And basically what that is a state of emergency system for, you know, when a state of emergency happens or something goes out of your norm happens, you can bring it back like real quick, like with no questions, you know, and then so you're able to balance, you know, your normal, balance your mental, balance your emotional, and just stay stable. Because I think at a time like this, you know, they always tell us, stay calm, stay calm, stay calm. It's easier said than done because we don't know. And that's the scary part. So I think at this point, you know, we should stay calm, you know, and just basically become the bosses, the CEOs, you know, the founders of our own security. So if you guys, you know, want to listen to the replays and want to get more information, you guys need to go to bit.ly/yourday2020, because this International Women's Week and all about the women. And I think as women, we need to stick together and we need to fight this, you know, because we can overcome.
That was amazing, Tamika. I love everything you said around fears. You talked about not being prepared, not having that savings available to deal with stocking up your home and then having to work and balance all of that stuff. That's great information. One of the things you talked about in number 2, it was several things you talked about, but what I really honed in on was the homeschooling and how just what they learn in the curriculum is not all you need to teach your kids. You need to teach them some life skills. And I think that is so, so important. My 13-year-old was home all last week because it was their spring break. And they initially predicted they were going to be out next week. And now it's going to be for 2 more weeks. So I told him, I said, I'm going to let you make it this week. I'm going to let you stay up late. I'm going to let you sleep late. But next week, we're going to get on a schedule. He's like, what do you mean? I mean, you're going to get your tail up in the morning like you going to school. Now, I have to say this homeschooling piece, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. I had an opportunity to go to school to be a teacher. I chose not to. So I feel like, and I hope the government is listening, I feel like if I have to homeschool my son, not by choice, I'm gonna need a tax break or something because I pay taxes. I signed up for him to go to school. And I am very serious about this because it's going to take us juggling our businesses, our jobs, the kids, our households. And if they want to, and we want to do a good job. We want to do a good job. I'm sorry, if y'all leave me to teach my 13-year-old math, he is going to fail. He's going to fail. So I am super excited about to see what they come up with, seriously, for the kids, because I know they're going to come up with something. The third thing you talked about, which is so key to everybody, is your mental state. Your mental state. People, it is going to, do not isolate yourself. Do not isolate yourself. And how do you say, well, how do I not isolate myself? They're quarantining me. Go reach out to people. Reach out to people like you wish they reached out to you. I want you to reach out to people like you wish they would reach out to you and start conversations. And don't say, oh, well, she ain't called me to check on me, so I ain't gonna call her. Don't be messy like that. Everybody's busy. Sit down and think of 5 people you can reach out to. 5 people you can reach out to and see how, check on them and see how they're doing. Tell them about this telesummit. We're here every morning, every night, regardless of the telesummit. So we have a great group coming in tomorrow morning. We have some amazing speakers. If you haven't already gotten registered, go to bit.ly/yourday2020, bit.ly/yourday2020. So we got some amazing information from Aisha about getting your money together. See, I take notes when y'all speak. I take notes when y'all speak. She talked about getting your bills prioritized, having money. Again, that's the common thread. The common thread, having money for an emergency. Having money for an emergency. That's going to be key. And right now we're in the midst, but we're going to get through this, but let's get prepared, because it's not going to harm you to have money in savings. It's not going to harm you at all. Ain't nobody going to come looking for you because you have money in savings. But we get in such Tamika talked about it, we get in such a routine of waiting on that next paycheck. Waiting on that next paycheck. Well, the paycheck could not come, and we don't have to always have a pandemic for it not to come. You can get laid off, you can get fired, your company can get bought out. There's all kinds of ways you cannot have that next paycheck coming in. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I know for myself, I've heard for many years that you need to have, I don't know if it's 2 or 3 months salary saved. I've never done that until now. Is it 3 months? CJ, the money lady, let's hear, why don't you weigh in on this, CJ? You've been quiet. You go ahead and weigh in on our amazing speakers tonight.
My internet is acting up. I have used all of my internet data usage. So if I sound like R2D2, or C3PO, just excuse me. But the only thing I can say is for these ladies, like, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. The thing is, Aisha basically talked to you all, and the thing is, you want to give her a call. She is a professional and good at what she does. And if she's able to, like Jennifer mentioned about prioritizing bills, let her help you with that. And then, not to mention Tamika Carpenter, I too can speak to the fact of being a single mom of 3 kids myself, 1 newly special needs. I can tell you, Tamika, I guess they feel this is a new thing for me. If you have a special needs child, I guess they don't feel like you need to work. I guess they don't feel like they guess assume you have help. But when you don't have the help, then what do? So that was some great tips about that. And yes, the foundation of it all is you have to be prepared with your money. It is just no way around it. You have to. And and when you do get your money, be wise about the purchases that you're spending. If you do have to purchase something, we talk about a simple thing as the food purchases that you buy. Make sure you buy at this time while we're talking.
CJ, you're breaking up, but I have a quick question. You just sparked a question. Can I write these groceries off? on my taxes in 2020.
Pandemic, buying foods that try this from my door.
No.
You breaking up, CJ. I don't know if you heard my question. Go ahead, Chiquita, take it away for, let's see if we
On
have any last words. But my question to you, CJ,
kitchen
can we write these groceries off?
because I can't get them.
She might
Oh.
have to put it in the chat because you're going in and out, sis. I tell you what, everybody's on the internet.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Internets are really weak tonight because everybody's at home on the internet because we all have to stay in. But you're right with Tamika. I really respect my single parents because it's hard enough when there's two parents in the household to raise children and pay bills. And single parents, it's just them. If you don't have any family help, you just depend on, it's just them. And you know what Tamika said, you got to save yourself first. You got to save yourself and your family first. When you see people marching for this cause and that cause, trying to save everybody else, you got to save yourself because nobody else is going to come and save us. The government's not going to save you. What they're putting in the plan in progress now is not going to help us. It's a little bit of change, but it's still not going to get us anywhere. And that's their plan. And we're the guardian of our children. They look up to us. We're their guardians. And, as far as the school thing, this is just my opinion. Don't get in my inbox. I think the kids that are homeschooled are a lot smarter. I think they have more survival skills because what they're teaching in school is a lot of junk. They teaching our kids not to write their signatures. They don't teach them about their real heritage. And so they're programming our children. So we still, even when the school system comes back, we still need to have a hand in teaching our children. And Jennifer, if we can vote on taking a deduction for having to buy these $400 and $500 for groceries and have them in here.
Girl, I just spent about $600 on groceries.
On groceries, absolutely.
But here's the thing, I'm not gonna be eating out as much. So at the end of the day, really low key, I'm gonna end up saving some money. I'm gonna end up saving some money, but not everybody's able to go spend $600 in a week for groceries. But when your budget might have only been $100 or $200. So we got to get prepared. We got to get prepared. Yeah. I'm super excited. Both of you ladies did an amazing job. We're going to hear again from Aisha for any closing remarks. Maybe you can give us a quick summary of your 3 bullet points. The same for you, Tamika, and then we're going to get out of here, ladies.
I think what I will leave you all with is it's time to take control of our finances and not to wait until something happens to take control. Because as we can see, us as being business owners and our money being impacted in our business, whether the business is closed down temporarily or maybe forever, who knows? I'm not trying to speak nothing into existence. But if we get our financials in order, then it will not trickle down to our personal finances. Because if you are a true entrepreneur where your total income comes from your business and you have been impacted, so here goes your business and your income is coming from your business, but unfortunately your business is not having the income coming in. So that's impacting your personal finances because now you're unable to pay yourself. You get what I'm saying? So now my business finances is impacted and my personal finances is impacted. So I say all that to say this. It's time to take control.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Tamika?
Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with this. Act like every day is an emergency.
Ooh, that's good.
Good.
Make sure your finances in order. And when it comes to educating your kids, educate your kids like they were first born. When you were teaching them their ABCs, their 1, 2, 3s, take it back to the beginning. and you retrain your kids for what they should be learning.
That's good. I'm gonna have to retrain myself and learn some stuff because I'm not ready. But you know what? This is a real wake-up call for me as well. Because I have advanced degrees and I thought I was done, but I'm not. So if I have to sit down and learn it with him, I got to sit down and learn it with them. And I'm with you, Chiquita. I think when we come through this, the school system is going to look very different, and there's going to be more responsibility put back on us as parents, because some of us rely too much on the school system, and it's draining the system, just like this whole pandemic is going to drain the government. And we as parents have to step up. So if I have to go back and learn some Algebra 1, I'm willing to do it because my son's future is at stake.
Well, let me ask you this. What do they use algebra in?
I don't know, because I don't know that I've
Nothing.
used it. And I can remember asking that question when I was in high school. What in the world am I going to do? You know, because these teachers are older. How is this going to benefit me? You know, and I understand some industries, some professions need that math, heavy science. Dion's an engineer. She needs that heavy piece. But you know, my son is really good at history. He's decent at science, math. He's good at, but you know, I don't fuss at him too much because I was as for math. Now you better turn your work in. Turn your work in. But you know, I'm gonna let you make it some. But going to school, being disciplined. You know, I wish if this whole school system changes and we do more at home, maybe they go half day. The only thing I want for my 13-year-old is for him to be able to have a social life and play sports. Not too much social, a lot of sports, because that gives discipline, that teamwork and discipline. I'm not putting all the onus on sports either. I'm saying we have to have a balance. But that was a great question, Chiquita. I don't know, because all I'm doing right now is counting my money on my I don't even do it by hand. My mom still balances her checkbook by hand. I'm balancing my money on my phone, on my calculator. I don't need no XY equals LMNOP, QRST element. I don't need all of that. I don't. So don't get, I'm like Chiquita, don't get in my damn inbox.
Don't get in my
Don't jump in my inbox. I'm not down in the system. All of you teachers, I wish I could write you all a check. I commend you, but I chose not to be a teacher. So now that I'm going to have to step up in some capacity and be a teacher, I'm up for the challenge. But I'm with you, Chiquita. X plus Y equals Z. I don't know. LMNOP?
Yeah. ABC, yeah. XYZ. Right. Every kid don't need that, really. Yeah, you're right.
It's
And
more for state testing. Like it's basically what they're teaching them is for state testing, but it's not going to help them in the long run. So they're basically just telling us, oh, we're teaching them this for them to learn for the outside world, but it's not. It's basically just another statistic for these kids, and that's what it is.
You're right. And you know, speaking of that, I can remember my son, the first time my oldest son went to the prom, he was in 10th grade. Made decent grades in school, but you were talking about life skills. When my son took his date to the prom, when he got home, I said, well, how was y'all's dinner? They went out to eat to a nice restaurant. I said, well, how much did you tip the waitress? And he said, I didn't. Now, how the hell can I get mad if I always pay and I never told him to tip? That's a life skill. That's a life skill that I did not teach. So I went back to the restaurant, found the waitress and tipped her, and then had a conversation, because you have a lot of waitresses and waiters right now because they work for tips. They get paid on an hourly basis, less than minimum wage. Less than minimum wage. I don't know what minimum wage is, but it's less than minimum wage. They rely on tips. Those people are hurting right now. But that was a life skill I didn't teach my son. Didn't even dawn on me. So I love the way you said that. I love the way you guys are talking money, talking life skills, talking your mental health, mental stability. This is amazing. Guys, if you haven't already gotten registered, go to bit.ly/yourday2020. We have our weekend morning crew that'll be back in the morning at 7:30, and then the night crew will be there tomorrow night to shut down the telesummit. We're super excited. Chiquita, go ahead and shut us down, lady. Give us some last ending words, maybe about real estate.
Oh, wow.
I'm like a preacher. I done closed this out like 5 times.
Well, you know, with everything going on with the virus and everything, if you're in real estate right, it's not going to affect you. It's not, there's so many things you can do. We have to own something. If we don't own nothing, we don't have anything. What is it that you own? It's a different way from you thinking from tonight to now on. Own something that's yours
good.
that nobody can ever take from us. Build our community up, because we see now they're not for us. They're not coming to save us. When we get out of this thing, if your mindset is, okay, let me go pay my house payment up for the next 6 months, you're thinking wrong.
That's good. That's good. On that note, guys, we're going to get out of here. You enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you later.
All right, bye.